Sexy.
Now, Derek,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to answer Nick's question.
Okay.
Okay. New Zelda Breath of the Wild screens confirm returning character Beetle. Fans thought they spotted him previously, and now it's confirmed Beetle the Merchant will be returning to the series in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Revealed by Game Informer as part of a batch of new screenshots, the character who first appeared in The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker now carries a gigantic beetle-shaped backpack. It's latest in a series of seeming connections to the GameCube Zelda game, from the seeming appearance of the Wind Waker exclusive races, the Rito and Koroks, to the fact that that one of the items makes explicit mention to the ancient sea. Some have come to the conclusion that Breath of the Wild is set in some time after the conclusion of Wind Waker, which included a quest to drain that game's flooded world. So
Interesting.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's definitely surprising as far as where I thought it would be placed in the Zelda timeline, because I may have mentioned this on a previous episode of the show. There's a Zelda book out that explains what the official timeline is and how all the games connect. From Ocarina of Time, there are 3 different versions. There's what's called the child timeline, where Link goes back in time 7 years to relive his childhood, which is where Majora's Mask takes place. Mm-hmm. Then you have the adult timeline, where it's the world after adult Link defeated Ganon. That's where Wind Waker takes place. Because in that story, Ganon comes back, and everyone's waiting for Link to return. He doesn't. So the gods flood Hyrule to keep Ganon from taking over. And then there's a third one where Ganon kills Link in the final battle of Ocarina of Time. So the 7 sages that you rescue, they seal Ganon away in like an alternate world. And that's where I think the original Zelda game takes place in that timeline. There's one other one, but I can't. Zelda 2 from the NES. So if this is after Wind Waker, I'm curious to see how they handle it, because in the last trailer they did, it deals a lot with telling stories of resurrection and what happened centuries ago. So it's very interesting, and also that they haven't really released that much story.
Yeah.
So, no, the Koroks coming back, I saw them in one of the trailers, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But now that Beetle's coming back, it looks like it's going to be set sometime after Wind Waker. So I'll just have to find out more information.
Are you excited
about the game? Yes.
Like that's the first time this whole episode that I saw like the gleam of a child in your eye.
Now, I haven't played a Zelda game since Majora's Mask. Wanted to play Wind Waker, never got around to it.
It's very good.
Wanted to play Twilight Princess, but just never got around to it.
I could never get into Twilight Princess.
It just felt weird because I played like 30 minutes of it. But this game just looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I want to see the story, because I guess if it's the one where Link dies, I guess he just didn't do his spin attack enough times to deflect the Ganon balls back to him.
Yeah. So,
You
yeah.
do the energy balls, and you were like, it's done your spin.
Do you have to hit them back and forth? Yeah. So Nick has a question.
Nick does have a question. And Allie said Skyward Sword for the win.
Skyward Sword is very good. It sets the tone for everything. It's the first game in the timeline.
There you go. I didn't know that. I don't play these games. Nick Viking Horn Caputo didn't win the Super Bowl. But anyway, Derek Diamond, talk me into buying a Nintendo Switch day one. And then Zach, tell me why I shouldn't buy the Switch day one. I'll let you go first.
Well, I actually have a very interesting side to the argument, because I was thinking about this on the way over. And to be perfectly honest, unless you really want to play Zelda when it comes out, and there are a lot of people that do, I wouldn't really be able to justify buying a Switch for launch because they've released, they're releasing more games for launch. But really, besides Zelda, what is there? Now, one interesting thing, because I don't think the three of us have really been together to talk about the Switch since they did their announcement.
No.
They should have packaged the 1-2 Switch game. They should have packaged that with the Wii, or not the Wii U. I almost called it the Wii U. The Switch, because it's a game that really is to demonstrate what the Switch can do.
Yeah.
Similar to what Wii Sports was with the Wii.
Yeah.
And you want to know what one of the most popular games for Wii was?
Wii Bowling.
Yeah, Wii Sports. So I think if you had kept the $300 tag and here's a free game to go with it, then people, because I will disagree with people who were complaining about the price, but I also think people will just complain because it's Nintendo and they don't like Nintendo. And people who use that argument are really stupid and short-sighted, by the way.
Yeah. Did you know that Wii Sports is the most sold game in the world?
I did not, but that's very interesting.
Yes, because
That makes
that it was
sense.
bundled with the Wii U. I mean, the Wii
The Wii did sell very well.
and the Wii is the most sold console of all time at the moment. But PlayStation 4 is coming for you, boy. It's coming for you. Hot and heavy, hot and heavy, hot and heavy, hot and heavy,
Hot and heavy.
hot and heavy.
Hot and heavy. Hot and heavy.
The reason why you shouldn't buy it. You got a PlayStation 4, man. What else do you need?
I need one.
They could have easily sold me on this, on the Switch. I was ready for it. I was hot and heavy. And then they doused my coals with cold water. And just the way they handled that conference, I'm like, this is the old toy-making Nintendo that doesn't know what they really have. And that doesn't make me put a lot of faith in it. Yes, it has Zelda Day 1, but you're going to be waiting for a while before you get some really good games in there.
Mario doesn't come out till Christmas.
Yeah. Shovel
Splatoon
Knight-
2 comes out in the summer.
Yeah, Shovel Knight, I think, is late March, I want to say.
So is Mario Kart.
Yeah. So
Mario Kart should have been a launch as well.
it should have been launched as a freaking port game. And they should have they should have launched with Zelda, Mario Kart, and freaking Smash. Should have been done right there. And
I would,
then it
I
would've been
would,
the best.
I would go off on that. I would add to that also Skyrim.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no reason why these ports should not be day one. Give it a reason why people should buy the thing. 1, 2, 3 Switch. Okay, that looks okay. It'd be
But
fun.
it should have
Hard-
been a packaged game with the system.
Yeah, it should have been. Watching Hideo Kojima, which was awesome, and Greg Miller play 1, 2, 3 Switch, and Greg destroy Hideo Kojima, legend of the industry, looked fun.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pay $60. I don't know how much it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay a ton of money for this extra on top of it. I'm going to get freaking Zelda, and that's going to be it. And I know a lot of people have compared, well, if you look at the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 launch, they had a lot of weaker games, and this one has Zelda. Yes, Zelda makes up for that, but we had more to choose from. We had things to choose from to play. And I want this console to do well. I want the Switch to do well, but Nintendo is getting in the way of its success.
And we've seen them do that many, many, many times before.
How much is it? How much is it? Did you look it up?
Doesn't have a price yet.
Yeah.
But you have to give the consumer more than just, all right. I mean, let's say that Zelda is your steak. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever just be like, man, I just want some steak. That's all I want is that one piece of steak. I don't want fries. I don't want macaroni. I don't want a baked potato. I don't want anything to drink. Do you ever say that? I like to have a little bit of variety with my steak.
I just like eating granola bars and nothing else.
Do you like to have a drink with your granola bar? I know you used to be a peanut M&M granola bar and a Mountain Dew. What would you rather just have the granola bar and that be it?
No, man. That'd be...
Here's a question. Here's a question I want to pose to you too.
Okay.
1-2 Switch.
Mm-hmm.
If that was because you said that you wouldn't pay, whatever. We don't know how much the games are going to be yet.
Yeah.
If it were to come with the Switch, would that change your perception on that game?
Yeah, it would make me, okay, I'm getting this game with it. You know, even if I don't buy Zelda day one for whatever reason, I have a game to play. I can come home, me and Amy can play this game, and it'd be fun. Mm-hmm. But I'm buying a console that has nothing there.
Yeah.
And they're trying to sell this as, oh, this is a game you can play with others. Your launch window, your launch game is a single-player RPG game. You're not selling me on it.
Yeah.
And, 1, 2, 3 Switch, it had to be like $15 for me to buy the daggum thing.
The perfect launch lineup would have been package 1, 2 Switch with the console, and then you have Zelda, which is your single-player RPG, and your franchise title that you launch the console with. Skyrim, which is still a game that a lot of people play and has been recently remastered, and then you have your multiplayer game with Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm. I think that would have been the perfect lineup. I'm interested in ARMS.
Yes, but that doesn't come out till after launch too.
Yeah, and I think it would be interesting to play with people because you're actually doing that. It looks cool.
Yeah,
but it's not launch, so it just.
I don't get why Mario Kart's coming out like 3 weeks after the console.
Yeah.
They're probably like, oh, we don't want it to endanger the sales of Zelda.
It's not.
It won't, because anytime I talk to a friend of mine who's a Nintendo fan, I talk to Casey McClendon or Michael Eckert and all of them, but like they're going crazy over Zelda, and I mean in order to get, if you got it, the earliest I would probably get it is 4, maybe 5 months after launch, when I have did I say lunch or launch? I think
It's the
I said
same
launch. Whatever. But that's when you have, a little bit more to choose from. Right now, like I said, you're just getting the granola bar.
Yeah.
And that's not worth it.
Gotta get that Mountain Dew.
Trust me, because
And
I have to pick that stuff out of my way every
I have
Sunday
no
morning.
issue with Splatoon being like the summer title and then Mario being the holiday one, because you can't release Mario and Zelda like back to back, I don't think. But I think the weakness and where Nintendo screwed up was the lack of or even a strong secondary launch title. Even if it was Mario Kart, I would have been like, okay, you have a single player and a multiplayer.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah, it's a port, but who really played Mario Kart 8 that much? Because it was on the Wii U.
Yeah, that thing
I didn't
died.
even play it that much.
That thing died fast.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, much as a surprise as it might be, I will actually say if you don't want to get the Switch at launch, I don't hold it against you. I mean, I personally am, because I'm a huge Zelda fan and I want to play it as soon as possible.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I want one day one because I want to be in the conversation. That's my biggest thing. I want to be able to play with it.
The Switch is coming out right around the time we'll do episode 200.
We should have 1, 2, 3 Switch off.
Oh, you beat me to it.
On the draw. Hot and ready.
Hot and ready.
Hot and ready, hot and ready, hot
What
and
was
ready.
it? Was it hot and ready I was saying?
Yeah.
Hot and heavy.
Hot
and heavy.
Hot and heavy. Hot and heavy.
We don't
So
know.
hopefully that answers your question, Nick.
Hopefully.
Go get you a PS4 Pro, bro. Get that boost mode. Jeremy Patrick Henderson asks, Activision recently announced Call of Duty would go back to its roots.
Back to its roost.
It works. If I was their PR person, I'd be like, we're going back to our roots in 2017. Battlefield 1 gave FPS gamers the boots on the ground combat they felt they wanted. However, Battlefield 1 seemed to have fizzled at late. Doesn't make sense. But anyway, can Activision's claim bring the love back to COD? Will the upcoming Battlefield 1 DLC receive interest? Are the shooters losing their edge in the market? Is it time for something new? That's a lot of questions, my friend.
I sure hope they can bring the love back to COD.
So we did have an article, but he kind of summed it up right there. They're going back to space didn't set a resonant.
It's because it sucked monkey stuff.
It sucked stuff.
Activision publishing CEO Eric Heisberg noted on a call following earnings report, "We've never been more excited creatively or commercially about our 3-year Call of Duty slate." So there you go, boots on the ground, hot and heavy.
Like, I really hope that, because I know me and you used to play it
every year.
The older ones every year, and it got to be to where I'm like, it's the same game, and then once I started getting into all this futuristic, the crap, like.
Last one I played was Kevin Spacey, and the only reason I played that was because of
Kevin Spacey was in it.
And then it was like, you're telegraphing everything. Don't give me a Bobo freaking story. Give me a good story, Kevin. Give me a good story. But then he gave me a bad story.
Yeah, it happens.
I think Battlefield 1 showed what actual first-person shooter gamers want. It showed that we want a real story. We don't need futuristic. We get that enough.
Yes.
Shoved down our throats. So, and if you're going to do it interesting. Like Doom was amazing. Prey is going to be great, I think, from what we've seen. Looking forward to Prey. Wink. But Battlefield really made a change.
Yeah.
Like it had Hardline before that and had Battlefield 4, and it was kind of like what would be going on these days. And they did okay, but Battlefield 1, I think, changed the industry. Everybody was like, okay, this is something that we can actually get into. So if they do that, I think Call of Duty is still the most selling game every year. Like that's hands down what's happening every year.
Yeah.
It's getting soon to plateau, so I think they're seeing the writing on the wall, just like Ubisoft did with Assassin's Creed. They've got to make a change. They've got to make something that people actually want, and they're thankfully listening to the people.
Yeah.
So I don't think first-person shooters are dying, though.
No. I would actually like to see one like set in like the Revolutionary War or like the
that'd be
Civil War
cool.
period.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is reloading. Because I remember the History Channel did a game that was set in the Civil War, and the reloading was like the thing that made it really, really bad.
Active reload, like in Gears of War.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, my friend.
I know. Like it's a great idea, but I know the mechanic wise of it is not going to work out.
A girl can dream, though.
You're right, I sure can.
Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix limited edition pre-orders announced. The Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 Remix PlayStation 4 collection is getting a limited edition version, which is now available for pre-order. Exclusively available from a Square Enix store, pre-orders for the Kingdom Hearts blah 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 Remix limited edition, which features a special collection pin featuring the 2 versions of Sora, are now open. The standard edition is also currently available for pre-order. The collection launches March 28th, 2017, the 15th anniversary of the original Kingdom Hearts. This game includes Kingdom Hearts Final Remix, Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 358/2 Days HD Remastered. When I did January's games, I had a Kingdom Hearts game in there. I was going mental reading these freaking titles. Stop it, Square Enix. Stop it. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix. Kingdom Hearts Recoded HD Remastered Cinematics. So you're just getting the cinematics. And then you can also get the Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, which came out last month. So
now, there's not a lot of things that I'll say that I kick myself in the ass for not doing. But Kingdom Hearts is a game that I do often because I never played a Kingdom Heart game.
What?
Growing up.
You're even getting the head shake from Allie.
I know. Like I said, there's very few things that I'll kick myself in the ass for. And this is one that I think, I'll see something pop up, Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, man. I was like, why didn't I play this?
Did you have a PlayStation?
I did. I had a PS1, PS2.
Okay, so you had the stuff that it was actually on. So.
I had the opportunities, but I'm
disappointed in you.
I just
We
never
can't be
did.
friends anymore.
And I don't judge you for not wanting to be friends with me anymore because I hate myself for it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I hate
But-
you for it too.
Like, I mean, maybe I'll hopefully do it. I hope you could forgive me, everybody in this room and that's listening.
I love Kingdom Hearts. It's one of my favorite game franchises.
It
I mean, it combines Disney and Final Fantasy. What more do you want?
And that's why I'm like, why didn't I play this? Because this is right up my alley for a game.
And Kingdom Hearts Pops are going to be released soon.
Got to get a Sora one for sure.
I think I'm just going to dig out the PlayStation 2 wherever it's at and maybe just try to find it.
I might actually have the original on PS2. I have to see it.
I'll see a man about a thing.
Yeah.
I used to have it. I don't know if it's still here.
I never beat the second one, unfortunately.
I never beat the first one. I'm going to be honest. Ursula kicked my butt. I could never beat her.
Yeah, Ursula was a pain.
Never could beat her.
So were y'all poor unfortunate souls?
Yes. Moving on. Mass Effect Andromeda removed the Paragon and Renegade system to allow for old school role playing.
This it baffles me as to why they did this, because this was always like me and Zach. We have a lot of things that we do are very similar in our gaming endeavors, but this is one that we are always on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Zach's always the good guy, and I'm always the bad guy.
Oh yeah, that's how it works.
No, it's flipped, but. That's what I loved about the Mass Effect games. That's what I loved about the Knights of the Old Republic. These games gave you the choice of being the hero of the game or the scourge of the game, and I hate that we're not able to make this choice anymore.
Yeah, so let's go into a little detail here. In the original Mass Effect trilogy, your dialogue choices would very often give you points in either the Renegade or Paragon, a sliding scale determining your overall morality. Mass Effect Andromeda's creative director Mac Walters has explained why the system is no more in Mass Effect Andromeda. In an interview with the official Xbox magazine, Walters said the old system felt very Shepard. He goes on to say it didn't really make sense if we were going to have Shepard as our protagonist, if we weren't going to have those. Walter said the new system is based more around agreeing and disagreeing. He said the original trilogy players would choose a dialogue response based on whether it was Paragon or Renegade and not actually think about what they were saying. With agree and disagree, it changes by circumstances and it changes by the character you're talking to. So you have to actually be more engaged in what's going on to know if you're going to do that, said Walters. You will also be able to respond in varying tones of voice to get your point across. We've added in the 4 tones, and we'll talk a little bit more in the future, but basically allow the types of characters to express themselves in one of 4 different ways, and sometimes one of 2 different ways. And I think that gets back to the more traditional role-playing sort of feeling, which is less about do I want to be good or bad, and more about how do I want to express myself. So, yeah.
I could totally see it.
March
Now,
21st.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. I would highly think against it. Or, hey, Dip, cut that crap out. Like, I mean, how are you not going to change whether you're a good guy or a bad guy if there's no scale?
I'm just going to be a dick to everybody since I can't be a renegade anymore.
I'll be, I guess,
like aggressive.
I'll be Mother Teresa. Come on, come on.
So you're going to be the pushover of the game.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna play it neutral. I'll be the gray Jedi of the game. I'll play on both sides.
Yeah.
I actually did that on Knights of the Old Republic one time. I was able to use both the good and the dark. So.
Well, there you go.
It works out.
Yeah. So the last one that I actually have pulled up on my screen, Allie, is the Samurai Jack one. Now, have y'all seen the trailer of this yet?
I have not.
Samurai Jack was probably one of my favorite shows.
Dang right.
Growing up, kind of in early high school years. Absolutely amazing. The art style is probably one of the coolest because it doesn't do the old school of like actually putting like black lines around the characters. Like if it's a white, like his robe is white and everything. Like it's drawn that way.
Yeah.
There's no black line around it. So it's always been very interesting to me on how their art style worked. And the story was really, really well done. Jack didn't talk a lot, but when he did, it was something very,
Philosophical, like deep.
yeah. And the action in the show, like the actual action, was just mind-blowing how good it was. And Aku as long ago in a distant land. Like when that started, you knew what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You were going on an adventure in time and space itself.
Probably two of my favorite episodes were like the mobsters, like rah, see,
Yes.
and when he goes and like the village of the really peaceful race.
Yes.
And he has to teach them how to fight off the like scarab beetle.
Yes.
Machines, and it's just so good.
I think the Scottish dude with the gun for a leg is like one of my favorites for some reason.
There's just so much about Samurai Jack that was really good, and I know we've thought about them coming back. That one, the one with his shirt off, with the shadow, the whale thing that would possess you. The far right by the Doctor Who one that's right beside it. Yeah, it's the one where like the shadow.
Oh yeah, that is a good episode.
Oh,
We're just like the thing. Allie, the thing.
It's right there. There's like 50 pictures in front of you, but it's right there. No, like Samurai Jack was just my jam. Coming home from school and being able to watch it, and now that they're not remaking it, but they're adding on to it.
Yeah,
awesome.
I've never watched Samurai Jack, but I know a lot of people are really excited for it. So, yeah, I know.
I'm just kidding. I didn't.
You didn't play Kingdom Hearts, so
I can't
you
say
know.
anything.
So now we're even.
We are. So we're friends again.
Yes.
We are
Yup.
even.